Welcome to Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support while you go through the divorce process. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello and welcome back to Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's episode, we're going to look into an alternative approach to navigating the rough waters of divorce, and that is collaborative divorce. Unlike traditional adversarial courtroom setting, collaborative divorce prioritizes cooperation and respect. So, is it the right choice for you? Well, we're going to explore the collaborative divorce process and see if it fits your destination. Now, one of the ways that the collaborative divorce works is in a team environment, and it's a team of professionals working together to reach a fair and amicable settlement. Now, this team typically includes you and your spouse. Well, you guys are the ones getting a divorce. But you also have to have your willingness to communicate openly and work towards a solution. Then you have your attorneys. The collaborative attorneys are specially trained in the collaborative law process. They guide you through it, advocate for your interests, and focus on common ground. And then you got neutral financial professional. And this person's not required. They're optional. But really, you're going to have an expert who helps in valuing assets, analyzing income, and creating a fair financial settlement. And another potential person on the team would be a divorce coach. And the coach provides emotional support and communication, guiding throughout the entire process. So the process itself. Now, let's take a look at how this thing flows. So we're going to have an initial meeting. Both spouses and attorneys meet to discuss the collaborative approach, sign a commitment agreement outlining the process and consequences of leaving the collaborative process. And also, the spouses have to agree on additional team members they would like to add. Step 2 is really going to be a lot of information gathering, getting things like financial documents and other relevant information together is going to be helpful because you got to disclose this so that we can make choices and decisions going forward. Next, we're going to have some negotiation and communication through a series of meetings. Really, we're going to, it's going to be facilitated by the collaborative team. You and your spouse will discuss and work towards mutually agreeable solutions on issues like property division, child custody, and spousal maintenance. And then lastly, you're going to reach an agreement. And once an agreement is reached, the collaborative attorneys will draft a formal settlement document that, really to be reviewed and signed by both parties. We do have some benefits of the collaborative divorce process, and it comes down to things like, reduced costs. Collaborative divorce can be less expensive, really, than traditional litigation since it focuses on settlement and avoids courtroom battles. That could lead to being less stressful. When you are cooperating with your soon-to-be ex, it creates a less hostile environment. And that's going to reduce emotional strain on you and your kids. You get to, maintain control. You and your spouse have more control over the decision-making process compared to a judge imposing a solution. And then you're going to focus on the future. The collaborative approach encourages future co-parenting and a more amicable relationship for you and your ex. So who should consider using the collaborative divorce process? It might be ideal for couples who prioritize a respectful and civil divorce process. You got to be willing to communicate openly and honestly. You got to be committed to finding solutions that benefit both parties and their children if you have kids. And then you got to have a relatively straightforward financial situation. It might not be the best option for you if there's a significant power imbalance or a history of abuse. either spouse isn't fully committed to the collaborative process would doom it. And then the financial situation is complex or one where one spouse suspects the other of hiding assets. So everybody's got to kind of be on the same page here. Collaborative divorce presents a pathway towards a respectful and solution-oriented divorce. However, carefully consider your situation and consult with a collaborative divorce attorney to determine if it's right destination for you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions, reach out to me or leave them in the comments. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, have yourself a good day. Hello, and welcome back to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we are going to tackle the different paths you can take on your divorce journey. Divorce is not a one-size-fits-all process, and understanding the options can help you choose the destination that best fits your needs. So, buckle up as we explore the various types of divorce processes available. We're going to start with the one we're all familiar with, and that is the traditional litigation route. This is the image most people conjure up when they think of divorce. Lawyers battling it out in court, a judge making decisions. Now, that does happen quite often, and let's go through real quick how it works. At the beginning, we're going to be filing a petition. One spouse initiates the process by filing a petition with the court, outlining the grounds for divorce and desired outcomes. For example, child custody, property and division. Now, we're going to have this discovery phase, and that's where both parties disclose financial records, assets, and other relevant information through a process called discovery. And this document's pretty important. I have it in another episode of the podcast because a lot of the financial numbers are going to come from this information. Now, we're then going to move on into sort of a negotiation and mediation type of setting. And this is where attempts are made to settle issues outside of court, either through negotiations between attorneys or mediation with a third neutral party. And then, if there is no agreement made, we got to move on to the trial portion. The judge then hears arguments from both sides, and the judge makes binding decisions, taking really your options out of the settlement. You don't get a say. And then lastly, we have the final decree. Once all issues are settled, the judge issues a final decree officially dissolving the marriage. So with the traditional route, there are some pros and cons. I mean, it offers advantages like a clear legal outcome and the court's authority to enforce the settlement. However, it can really be time consuming and probably might be the most expensive route due to lawyer fees and court costs. Stress and emotionally draining due to adversarial nature. I mean, the constant back and forth. And then it's kind of unpredictable. There's no guarantees how the judge will rule. Now, you do have some other options that are available to you. So let's look at some alternative dispute resolutions, or ADRs. ADRs offer a more collaborative and less confrontational approach. And we got really two popular choices right now. One's mediation. So a neutral third party facilitates communication and negotiation between spouses to reach a mutually agreeable settlement. Or you can look at the collaborative divorce process. And this involves a team of professionals, including attorneys specially trained in collaborative law, who will work with you to find solutions outside of court. Now, an ADR can be, faster, less expensive than, say, traditional litigation, could be less stressful and promote civility between spouses, and empowers you to make your own decisions about your future. However, it might not be suitable if there is a significant power imbalance or a history of abuse, open communication is difficult to achieve, or your financial situations are complex or trust is lacking between the spouses. Now, the best route really depends on your specific circumstances, and here are some factors to consider. Your relationship with your spouse. Can you communicate civilly, or is the situation highly contentious? The complexity of your case. Do you have significant assets or children involved? And then your budget. Can you afford a lengthy court battle? So Consulting with a divorce attorney experienced in different processes is pretty important. They'll be able to assess your situation, explain the legal implications of each path, and help you choose the most appropriate destination for your journey. Remember, there's no single right way to get divorced. Evaluate your needs, priorities, and resources to chart the course that leads you and your family towards a peaceful and mutually beneficial destination. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or leave a comment. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Until next time, take care. Hello and welcome back to Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to go over a topic that's pretty sensitive for many parents considering divorce, and that is how to handle children's health issues during this challenging time. Now, divorce really can be a stressful experience. I'm pretty sure we all understand that. And children, though, are especially vulnerable to emotional upheaval. But on top of that, what happens to their healthcare needs? So let's take a look at this territory and ensure your child's well-being remains a priority. Now, the key is really to prioritize your children's health and maintain continuity of care. Here's how to approach something like this. First, you want to gather information. Start by collecting all your children's medical records, insurance information, and contact details for their doctors and specialists. And then open communication. Communicate openly with your soon-to-be ex about your children's medical history, upcoming appointments, and any ongoing treatment plans. A lot of times, the sticking point during the divorce process is going to be healthcare costs. Now, we got some things that we want to take into consideration. So first is maintaining the current insurance. If possible, consider keeping your children on the same health insurance plan, especially if they have ongoing medical needs or require regular specialist visits. You can also look at sharing costs. Discuss how you'll handle future medical expenses, whether it's split based on a percentage of covering specific costs. For example, one parent covers doctor's visits, the other covers prescriptions. And then there's also child support. In some cases, child support payments might be adjusted to factor in healthcare expenses. And so you can actually have it, negotiated and then put into the child support agreement. Now, our parenting plan is going to also help us, and it's going to outline custody and decision-making regarding your kids. It should also address healthcare. So we're going to have, say, a designation of a primary care physician for routine checkups, a decision-making authority for emergency medical situations, and then a communication protocol for sharing medical information and upcoming appointments. Now, this is a pretty big and significant part of the divorce process. I would always recommend consulting with a divorce attorney experienced in these situations. They can help you navigate healthcare considerations within your divorce settlement and then ensure your children's needs are adequately protected. Now, if you need additional support, I got some resources that you might be able to check out, and then they could possibly help you as well. And one is the Children's Healthcare Advocacy Organizations. And they offer resources and information on advocating for your child's healthcare needs. And then we got therapists, and they're able to help your children cope with the emotional challenges of divorce and provide tools for managing stress. Remember, throughout the divorce process, your children's health and well-being should always be a top priority. Open communication, planning for continuity of care, and seeking legal and professional help can ensure your children receive the medical attention they need during this difficult transition. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or drop them in the comment section. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Have yourself a great day. Hello, and welcome back to Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic might surprise you. It's going to be on legal separation. It's often seen as a halfway point, but can it be a viable destination on its own? Well, divorce isn't always the answer. Let's explore this legal separation and see if it might be the direction you and your spouse want to take. Now, legal separation is actually a court-ordered arrangement where married couples live separately but remain legally married. Think of it as putting your marriage on hold. A formal separation agreement outlines important matters like division of property and debt, child custody and support if applicable, and spousal maintenance if applicable. So there are several reasons why people might choose legal separation. One is financial independence. It allows each spouse to establish separate finances and credit histories. Time for reflection. Really, providing a cooling off period to assess your relationship and decide if divorce is truly the answer. Maintaining benefits. Some couples need to remain married to qualify for health insurance or other benefits. And then there's religious considerations. For some religious faiths, divorce is not an option. We're going to want to consider a few things, though. And while separation offers benefits, there are also some drawbacks. You're still legally married. Neither spouse can remarry until a divorce is finalized. Potential complexity. Legal separation involves attorneys and court, similar to divorce, though usually less expensive. And then there's tax implications. So tax benefits of being married might be lost during the separation. Now, is it right for you? Well, you're going to want to ask yourself some questions. Are you open to reconciliation in the future? Do you have children, and how will separation affect them? And are your financial situations complex? Consulting with a divorce attorney should be at the top of the list. They're going to be able to explain the legal implications of separation compared to a divorce and help you determine if it's the right path for you. Now, legal separation can be a valuable tool for couples navigating a complex marital situation. It provides structured pause and financial independence while keeping legal ties intact. However, carefully consider the implications before choosing this option. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. Leave your questions in the comments section, or you can send them to me directly. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. I wish you a good day. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we are focusing on staying mentally and emotionally sharp during the whirlwind of divorce. Now, divorce can cloud your thinking and leave you feeling overwhelmed. The stress alone is enough to just overpower you. But there are ways to navigate this challenge and emerge stronger. Knowing that divorce throws a lot at you, we can keep our minds sharp and probably really need to keep it clear as well because we have a lot of decisions to make. So let's go through a few strategies here to help you maintain that sharpness. First, keeping those routines. Regular sleep schedules, meal times, and exercise routines can provide a sense of stability and predictability, which can be calming during a time of upheaval. You got brain games and exercise. Engaging in activities like puzzles, crosswords, or learning a new language can help improve focus and cognitive function. And then you got mindfulness practices. Meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises can help you manage stress and anxiety, promoting clear thinking and emotional regulation. So we also want to stay emotionally healthy at this time. And so we're going to want to nurture that inner strength of ours. And we can do that through a few different ways. Positive self-talk is one, challenge the negative thoughts and replace them with affirmations of your worth and resilience. Gratitude practice, focusing on things you're grateful for, big or small, can shift your perspective towards the positive. And then set realistic goals. Break down large, overwhelming tasks into smaller, achievable goals to minimize stress and build a sense of accomplishment. Get the ball rolling. And then we're going to go slide right on into self-care, because taking care of yourself physically and emotionally is really non-negotiable during divorce. And so we got some self-care practices that would be good to implement. And that's, probably nothing earth-shattering, but sometimes you just need to hear it again. And we're going to start with healthy habits. Stick to a nutritious diet, maintain regular exercise, and prioritize quality sleep. A healthy body supports a healthy mind. And then we got relaxation, whether it's taking a warm bath, reading a book, spending time in nature, or indulging in a hobby. Schedule activities that bring you relaxation and enjoyment. And don't forget the social connection. Maintain healthy relationships with friends and loved ones. Social connections provide support, reduces feelings of isolation, and boost your mood. Now, if you're struggling with these areas, you can always seek professional help, and don't hesitate to do that. A therapist can provide a safe space to process your emotions, develop coping mechanisms, and gain invaluable guidance through this challenging time. You got to remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Divorce is a process, and there will be ups and downs. The key is to be patient, kind to yourself, and celebrate your progress. By staying mentally and emotionally sharp, you can navigate this journey with a greater strength and clarity. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or leave a comment. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, enjoy your day.